called again?
Convincing Idiots.
Convincing Idiots.
Called it ham gravy.
I informed them that I sided with the stat man, not just anyone's opinion, the stat man Brian Fisher.
These kids today.
Jingle All the Way is in fact the best Christmas movie of all time.
I need to get Grandma a present, and my herpes is flaring up. I got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, yo, yo. I'm the millennial
We're
Santa.
three friends representing three different generations. That's our whole shtick. That's our thing.
Mm-hmm.
Nick got the whole poop.
Mm-hmm.
I'm standing in the sea
Caucasian.
breeze, holding a turd, just mightily. I'm just going hitting hats.
Anyway, on a lighter note,
3, 2.
And welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the vodcast. Welcome to the broadcast. Boys and girls, welcome to the show. This is Convincing Idiots. My name's Dean, the Zennial.
I'm Brian / Evil Gen X.
Mm-hmm.
And I am Nick, and I am a millennial. And we welcome you back to another episode of Convincing Idiots. If you have not already done so, online you can find our Convincing Idiots link tree. Just Google Convincing Idiots, LINKTREE link tree. There you will find links conveniently placed there for you for Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Our email is there. All the places that you can listen to our lovely voices via podcast. As well as our website, that is convincingidiots.wordpress.com. Go there, sign up for whatever you can, go follow us on whatever you can, give us money if you want to, whatever. It's a choose your own adventure out there. So, this is episode 1, season 2.
That's right.
Right, or would that have been the Ignite show?
That's
The
right.
last show, episode 1 of
Yeah.
season 2.
No,
This is season
This
2.
is
That
okay.
was the season finale.
Ignite,
This is the
Ignite
season
capped
premiere.
us. Okay, so if you didn't catch that, we did our live show a week ago. Not this past Saturday, but the prior week, we did a
Right.
live show on Facebook Live from Ignite Brewing Company, which was fantastic. Ignite was great hosting us out there. We really appreciate that. Very gracious hosts. Let us set up in the back there, and then in the tap room, we had some friends and family come join us live. We had some people interacting live. So safe to say we all had a lot of fun. I don't know if the content of the show was as good as some of the other ones. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I honestly haven't listened back to it. It felt great, though. It felt fun being there, and hopefully that translated through. So, but here we are. We had last week off. We're back here. This is the gripping first installment of season 2 of Convincing Idiots. We have now been doing this for over a year.
Yes.
So it's very impressive. We're all very excited. As you can see, we're all in the Halloween mood. If you're watching on YouTube, as Brian mentioned off the top, he is representing Evil Knievel.
We were supposed to dress up?
Yeah, we have Dean here in a Snuggie that just happens to look like Chewbacca. And I have my Venom hoodie on, so everybody's a little dressed up. Brian overachieved a little bit, but
as he always
we're
does.
we're all here. So anyway, Dean, how have you been since I last saw you? Which honestly was earlier today. But let's pretend like we haven't seen each other since the Ignite show. How have you been?
Okay.
What's going on with you?
I'm better than I deserve. I'm on the right side of the grass, so,
Okay. You don't deserve to be alive? Is that what you're alluding to?
You said it, not me. No,
Okay.
no, I'm fine. I don't really recall a whole lot of the Ignite show. I was not feeling well.
Mm-hmm.
I had the bubble guts going on.
Mm-hmm.
It was my stomach I was in a lot of pain. I don't know if you watched the YouTube video. I don't know if you can. I was feeling pretty bad.
Just a gut full of hot snakes going on there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I ended up spilling out on every end of me there at Ignite. Yeah,
Every end.
Yeah.
Wow.
Awesome.
It was like
So
a
Ignite-
pig on a spit. I mean, just
Ignite
both
hosted
sides.
us very graciously and put
And
us
I
up for the evening.
destroyed their
And you went
bathroom.
and destroyed their bathroom.
Yeah, on both ends.
Okay. All right. So if
Yeah.
you're out there listening and you have a brewery and you're interested in hosting us in the future, please reach out. That is convincingidiots at gmail.com. Thank you.
Now, let it be clear that it had nothing to do with Ignite Brewery's beer. Their beer is amazing. Actually, that's what I'm drinking now. Their jack-o'-lantern.
That's what I was drinking that night. Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm fine now. But yeah, that night, I think I was up the rest of the night just with the most incredibly sounding farts all night.
Oh.
It was
Incredible.
pretty impressive.
Incredible how? Please describe them in more detail for our listeners.
Not only volume but texture.
Okay.
The
We talking more of a fluff,
sound,
more of a girth. Like what kind of
girth?
Okay.
It's like it's like a Cujo was growling out of my ass.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Brian, what's been coming out of your ass since we last talked?
Sunshine.
Yeah. A lot of stuff at work, just trying to sound intelligent and so forth,
Ooh,
But,
how's that going?
Yeah. It's a work in progress.
Okay.
It's a work in progress. No, but I'm okay. Nice weekend. So, Dean, nice time at you had a nice birthday party for your son Carter over the weekend. So
Yes.
nice turnout there. Folks dressed up in costume. That was a nice event.
Yeah, I liked how Brian brought that. Actually, if you didn't, I was going to be like, my nephew's birthday party happened, by the way.
No, you didn't ask that. You asked me about the brewery show. You didn't.
Dean's son just turned 10 years old. He's had a kid for a decade. He'd rather talk about what his farts sound like and all the bad shits he had last week.
Yeah. So that was nice. And then I looked at my Facebook memories. It was 2 years ago this past Sunday that I made an appearance on buddy Keith Porter and John Cooper were doing a little football show, reality football. I was a guest that evening, and then from there, I joined the show officially, and that's what got me into this whole podcasting thing. So we did that football show for 2 seasons. Skinner came on as well. So the 4 of us did that for 2 seasons. And then that show eventually evolved into another show. It came from Gen X, and then my interest there and the fact that I could, actually put a podcast out there. We talked about this in prior episodes. That's what got the 3 of us going with this show here. So 2 years ago, got into the podcasting crazy world and hobby. Very glad I did it. It's funny to go back and listen to the very first thing I did on camera. A little bit nervous and all that. So it's just you evolve, you get more comfortable with it. So very glad I did it.
So you went back and watched that sex tape you made?
Right. Yeah. This very awkward, very fast.
I don't know if I can do it, mister. You want to be a star, don't you?
Oddly, I was wearing this outfit. So it really.
Who can resist you with that deep V?
It takes
Show me
you
that plunging neckline, boy.
Yeah, it takes you to another level. If you were around my age, Evel Knievel when you were a child was like a superhero type figure as a kid, and wearing this outfit, it's like Anyhow, so I'm glad I did it. Keith, Coop, cheers! Thank you for having me on, and I'm glad to be doing this with you guys for over a year now. And again, like you say, season 2, crazy.
Season 2,
still having fun every weekend. Usually having fun, I should say, but no, I'm joking. But it's great experience. Glad to be doing it. So, how are you, Nick? What's going on with you? What's new?
I am well. I was just thinking when you were talking there, I'm like, you really are the elder statesman here. You were back before you were coming up in the farm system before Dean and I were even dipping our toes into the water. Actually, that's true.
Right.
Dean and I had talked about doing a podcast for years. I want to say probably at least 8 years. Dean and I had talked about doing a podcast, and it just took you with the know-how and the experience to step in and go, I've done this, we can do this, and then here we are. So
we just figured out.
If I ever find it, guys, I have one of the old, we have the little recorder tape you press, kind of like a what news reporter back in the day would have to record people talking. I have one of those, and I still have it downstairs. And I would do shows, mock shows and stuff. So a teenage Dean is on tape doing Lord knows what. So someday we might have to give those a listen.
Yeah, maybe that we'll get those tapes. Maybe those tapes will replace you someday. Actually, we'll just find snippets.
Do worse.
It's still fart jokes and shit. It's about masturbation and fart joke. It's the same thing. Nobody even know it's different. Yeah,
just sounds younger. That's all. And we have the picture. We both of us have the picture now, Nick.
Yep.
Yes, that's right.
Given to us. Yep.
Nick starts talking about me and gets canceled. Look at that.
Man, I'm a Yankee. Right from the air.
Right. I mean, they didn't even like question him or anything.
Wow. Just
while Nick is gone, let me say that my son's birthday party Saturday was a good time. He is 10 years old. It is crazy that I have a 10-year-old son.
Yeah.
It was a good time. It was a costume party. Everybody dressed up. Everybody had a good time. So,
you had a nice turnout there. It was nice to step back and see all the friends and family that came out for you and for him. Yeah, nice pictures.
Last year for his 9th birthday party, we were going to do the same thing, Halloween party, because his birthday is on the 30th. So he's a Halloween child. So last year we were going to do it, and we ended up getting COVID instead. So the birthday party was canceled literally an hour before. So this year we were able to get it in. Nobody had or got COVID. It was a good time. And what you didn't when you had left, Brian, Nick and I ended up playing like a bunch of backyard games with the kids, playing tag, freeze tag. I think there was a round of duck, duck, goose at a certain point. Yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
That's fun. Do you guys have any other Halloween traditions that you're keeping up with this year? Like pumpkin carving, or are you doing trick or treat and all that stuff?
We did carve our pumpkin. Carved our pumpkin. He wanted the pumpkin that was from the original Halloween movie.
You know what?
We did that as we watched Halloween Kills.
Okay.
And I'll get to that later in my Idiots review.
Now that you say that, I saw the pumpkin there, and I thought, you know what? That looks like the pumpkin at the beginning of the movie. That's exactly what it was.
He drew it on there, and I did the carving.
Very clever. Very clever. Okay, excellent. All right. We have our millennial rematerializing here. Very good.
I started talking, and then I was like, I don't know what happened to you guys. You're both frozen, and then both your pictures went away. And I'm going on thinking I'm the one still on air, and then I get booted out of the call. So, So
see, I actually I said that since you started talking about me, you ended up just get canceled.
I got canceled by association. They're like, nope, nope, don't like where this is going. Yep.
I was telling him about the games that we played for Saturday night with the kids. Freeze tag. Hide and seek in the dark.
That was cool. I got some good cardio in that Saturday. That was fun.
It'd been a while.
Yeah.
Well, since we're talking about Halloween stuff, so we were just talking, Nick, a little bit about some Halloween traditions and all that Dean and Carter.
Dean's spooky dookies from last Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you have any, so we're talking about just various Halloween type subjects here at the first segment here. So Dina talked about some favorite urban legends, and also he had I think you have a ghost story that happened to you, Dean. Is that correct?
I do. I have actually quite a few.
Okay. So let's talk about some of that stuff. So yeah, just go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead. You go and start.
Well, my life has been, ever since I was a teenager. The house I grew up in was haunted, and there was a lot of different things. Like my room was in the basement, and
you lived in the basement.
I didn't. No, they didn't make me. I moved down there because I wanted to get away with a bunch of shit, which I did.
I wanted to live in an unfinished basement. It was totally my choice.
I finished it. But I brought this bunk bed down where I took the bottom bunk out and put a couch in. And so I'm up on the top bunk. I had a routine every night at 11:35, I watched David Letterman.
Mhm.
By the first commercial, when you went to the first commercial, I went to bed, turned the TV off, went to bed. Well, I would lay there, and every single night, if you started at 11:35, I think it was like 11:42, I believe. But the exact same time every night, the drawstring on the light bulb right by me would pull and fall back, dink, 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 up against the light every single night. And I would even pause and I would look at it. After a while, you don't get scared. It's the thing that's happening every single night, like clockwork.
That's
And
how Brian's first time on camera went too.
like clockwork.
After the first time, you don't
little
get scared
dinks.
anymore. It's you don't get scared anymore.
That's
It's just
right.
what's happening. It's it's
That's
whatever.
right. That's right.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And at one point, we were playing with a Ouija board down in my room, and things started moving and stuff. And clearly, it was somebody else, whatever. And I said, "Where are you at?" And I said, "At the stairs." And then we heard bang at the top of the stairs. Everybody freaks out. I run upstairs, and it's one of my older sister's boyfriends or friends or whatever. And I'm all scared and pissed off, and I fucking drill him. I mean,
What?
look at me. Yeah, I fucking hit him in the face.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, I did that later. I mean,
What do you expect? I live in a basement. I mean, it's whatever.
It's what you do. And I mean, he didn't. He was still laughing. Obviously I didn't hit him that hard, or unable to hit him that hard. And but I still got pissed off, and I took the Ouija board out in the front porch. Even though they were moving the thing and they were making the noise and stuff, I broke the thing over my knee, and the light bulb busted above me. And the light switch downstairs never happened again after that.
Huh. Maybe you freed that ghost from the light bulb.
Maybe it was a light bulb ghost.
Yeah.
But I had in that house, I'd heard voices, people singing. Tennis ball would come dropping down the stairs, and then the same tennis ball, I'd look over, do it again, and nobody was taking it upstairs, and the dog wasn't there. So stuff like that.
Interesting.
I was all right. I'll give you one more real quick. I was working for the school system right out of high school. I was a janitor, and go ahead, Nick. You got anything?
No.
No.
I think that's a noble profession.
All right. So
maybe not
I'm
for someone
there...
just out of high school. It seems a little weird, but whatever. It's fine.
Right. Well, I was there with my buddy Tim. He was also a janitor. Actually, he was a janitor at that particular school that night. And I went there to hang out with him. And he called me and said, "Hey, why don't you come out here? Whatever." All right. So we're in the basement. We're in the bottom basement classes. He's in the L shape, way past on the opposite side of the school, right? And I'm in the one class, and I'm just looking around and stuff. I think it was a music class. I was ding, 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 playing with piano or whatever. And I hear like somebody got into my ear and whispered, "Hey, Dean. Hey, Dean. Hey, Dean." And I turn around. I'm like, What? Nobody's there. Same thing. 3 times. "Hey, Dean. Hey, Dean." So I go out in the hall and I look. Nobody's there. I go walk down the hall, walk to the end. I said, "Tim, what did you want?" He's like, "Nothing." I said, "You were whispering my name earlier, just like a couple minutes ago." He goes, "Oh shit, you heard that? I had somebody whispering my name last night. That's actually why I called you to have you come down here, because I didn't want to be here alone in the school." So, yeah, that was a little creepy. And different schools had a lot of different feelings and sounds and footsteps and lockers and whatnot. So, yeah, it was all interesting. So, yeah, just a couple of my ghost stories.
Yeah.
What about you guys? Nick, I have to assume, given where you live.
Yeah. Yeah. It's long since been said that there's some sort of ghost or something that lives in this house. For those that don't know, I purchased my home from my grandparents. So I spent a lot of time here as a kid, but my grandparents that I'm very close with, they lived here for over 30 years prior to myself living here. So they've got weird stories over the years. Mostly, I mean,
But
pretty
let's
much.
also let me help you out real quick. Your grandparents are still alive. They just moved
Correct.
to Florida.
Yes, correct.
Or North Carolina.
Yeah. I don't believe
Okay.
it's any of them.
Okay, I just
They're good.
wanted to put
Yeah.
that out there because I was going forward with the story.
Right. Yeah. So, as far as we've never really looked into the history, and it's mostly because of the types of things that happen. It's usually things being moved and put back. My dad's got stories of, when him and my mom first got together and they were looking for an apartment and stuff like that. They lived here for a short time. Things like my dad's would, jeans he'd have laid out for work would get moved. He'd look everywhere for them. Then they'd be back and nobody was home. Things like that. Very harmless things. My mom had a story one time. You know how you can sense someone's presence even when you don't see them, or you can acknowledge someone walking by like a doorway. You feel that when everything's
Sure.
quiet, you can hear kind of not necessarily footsteps because it's carpeted, but you could hear someone just walk down the hallway. My mom's got the story of being in the shower in this house and the door was open, no one was home, and basically hearing footsteps walk right across the doorway, which no one was there. There's nothing to see. Strange things like that. Personally, over the years, little things, like I said, most things like being misplaced or being laid down somewhere, not being there, and then being returned, kind of thing. There was one time though, it was probably a good 5 or 6 years ago. I've lived in this house for like 9 years now, but it was probably like 5 or 6 years ago. I was in the shower, and we have the sliding, doors, the solid sliding doors in the basement shower. And I'm taking a shower, and along one of the railings, we've got some bottles of things, shampoo, whatever extra things on there. I was taking a shower down here one night. The glass is clear. I can see out to know that there's no one there, or to see
And you were naked?
the shape of someone. Correct. I was
All
naked. And I'm taking a shower, and all of a sudden, bang, crash, like a bang against one of the doors, and it knocks everything off of that railing onto the shower floor. I mean, it's loud, and I mean it clearly. I mean it. I'm looking right at it, and there's no one in there, and I can't. Typically things like that, things moving, things rolling on their own, whatever, you can kind of go, there's a draft or a vibration in the ceiling above or something. I don't know. That one, or even when I say things being, disappearing, coming back, you could go, well, are you sure you didn't,
Sure.
absent-mindedly move it and then or didn't see it, or you know what I mean? Like I get where people could hear stuff like that, go, oh yeah, great. That one, to this day, I don't know what to make of that. And it was loud and very obvious. Like it wasn't a slight little, maybe like, oh, the shampoo settled to one side of the bottle and it lost its balance. Like, no, it was a loud crash against that hard door, and the whole thing shook and everything came flying off. And it was insane. The lights on, I can see outside of the door. No one is in the bathroom.
Did you scream?
I did jump, and I never finished a shower so fast in my fucking life. Like, I was done in like
Right.
10 seconds. I rinsed off everything, I dried off, and hightailed it upstairs. Like, I was freaked out. That was weird. I'm like, Robin and the boys were home, but they were upstairs sleeping. It was later at night, and it was just very strange. But I don't know. We kind of tend to believe that if there's a spirit in this house, it's maybe like a kid or something, or typical, like I said, little things that happen are very minute. Nothing's ever felt menacing or scary or anything like that, other than just the obvious unsettling feeling of something you can't explain being there. But yeah,
what is it about showers?
I don't know.
Or bathrooms?
Maybe you feel, because that's where you're most. I was going to say you're most vulnerable, perhaps. Like I don't know.
Because I know when I first moved into this house, I was taking a shower and the faucet turned on full blast.
Yeah.
Like, I can understand if like maybe pressures build up and it,
Yeah.
turns out this was full blast.
Yeah.
I've heard knocking on the door while I was in the shower, and that was when we first moved in. I've since had the house cleansed and stuff, but
Yeah.
yeah.
My dad has also told a story about when he was a kid, hearing when he was sleeping in his bed, hearing somebody like walk up and down the hallways as if with their fists they were pounding on each side of the walls, just slowly walking up and down the hall and just kind of pounding their fist against each side of the wall as they walk down up and like slowly. And he, swears that I don't know how old he was. I'd have to ask him to be sure, but he swears that it was, he got up out of bed to like check it out. There's nothing there, and just weird stuff like that. So, yeah. So, what about you, Brian?
Yeah. You got anything, Brian?
Well, when I got COVID, I had a full bottle of bourbon, and next thing I know, it was gone. I don't know.
Wow.
Again, can't explain it.
That's scary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I never had a ghost. And actually, I bought my, as you guys know, I bought my grandparents' house as well. So my mom was born in this house and grew up here, and my uncle. But I've never had any odd experiences as far as that type of stuff in here. It's so I've been kind of lucky in that respect. I did have I don't know if you guys ever have a near death type like circumstance experience. You ever have anything like that?
I have.
So I had that before. So I was in high school, and my parents were friends with this other couple, and then they had a few boys between the two of them. Very nice couple. And I started to hang out with one of them when I was a teenager, like probably 17 or 18, something like that. And I remember he called me up one night, says, "Hey, Ray, I'm going to go out with some friends. Do you want to go?" And I actually had plans. I was trying to get a date with this other girl from my high school. We actually had tentative plans, and that date kind of fell through, but I stayed home. I remember it was just a crazy, rainy, stormy night that night. And that evening, that car of guys was driving too fast and hydroplaned just outside Canal Fulton and hit a tree and killed everybody in the car but the driver, including my buddy at the time. So he's buried in a cemetery close to where I'm at here, and Allie and I drove by there the other day, and it's almost without fail when I drive past that cemetery, I find myself reflecting. Of course, I miss him. He was a nice guy and all that type of stuff. But just those little decisions and weird things and happenstances in your life. I could have easily been in that car and got killed that evening as a young teenager. And then obviously your mind can go a lot of places with that. Peyton certainly wouldn't be here. And worse yet, this podcast wouldn't exist.
That was my fear.
So
yeah,
that was my.
That's what I was afraid to say out loud. Yep.
Yeah, but that happens to a lot of people out there. But it definitely makes you, reflect on some things. I don't know. So that's a kind of a strange thing that's happened in my time. It's a little bit eerie, if you will. So yeah, Dean, you said that's happened to you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was driving down the road, 18 years old, just graduated high school, driving down the road, and a kid runs a stop sign. I swerved to miss him, and I hit a telephone pole head on. I wake up outside of the car. I open my eyes because I don't know the time. I was knocked out. I guess I got out of the car and collapsed, or whatnot. And I remember having what some would call
out of body.
Well, no, not out of body, but like your life flashing before your eyes. I remember images and memories and stuff, very very fast paced. And I remember being very peaceful, but I remember waking up and opening up, and I'm looking at the sky, and all I see is the blue sky, very blue sky, and I was just at peace. I knew I was dead. But obviously I wasn't, because people started coming up around me, and I was, oh,
People
look,
like you aren't in heaven. Get out of here.
Right.
And
Like
this is supposed to be my happy place. There's no other people here.
people in heaven should have all their teeth. But yeah, people came up and they put me in an ambulance. I knocked out some teeth and stitches everywhere, and it's a very strange thing to not know things. When I say things, like when you come in, doctor says, "What's your name?" Dean. Last name? Fuck. Don't worry about it. What's today? Haven't a clue. I couldn't answer anything. Like, I concussed to nobody's business. Could explain a lot now. I don't know.
Yeah, it's throwing some pieces together for us.
Yeah. But I remember having a lot of like visions and memories and whatever you want to call it. But yeah, that's about as close as I came.
Wow.
I had another thing too. I was driving home with a girlfriend, actually, and she was driving, and we're going up 77. I had fallen asleep. I wasn't buckled in, fell asleep, and next thing I knew, I'm kind of waking up, and we're not moving. We're sitting on the expressway, and I'm like, okay. And then the next thing I realize, somebody is in the window yelling at me, yelling. And I'm like, I turn, and it's a paramedic yelling at me, asking me questions. Or, what's your name? And then I started to answer his questions. I was able to answer them, I remember, D. And then I realized, like, my knee hurts. I looked down, my pants are torn. Then I realized what had happened was we were driving, and on the opposite side of the expressway, a light post had fallen into the road on the opposite way going south, and some guy hit the post. Okay, some idiot was driving north and decided he was going to stop his car and park in the left lane of the expressway to watch the commotion. And by the time she got up on him at night, realized he wasn't moving at all, she plowed into him. She was okay, thank God.
Mm-hmm.
And then I fast forward a little bit. I flew out of the seat, and I was completely, I was, asleep. So I was completely relaxed, right? And my head caved in the windshield.
Sure.
And there was a head mark in it, and I landed.
Spiderweb.
Yeah, I mean, I pushed out pretty far, and I landed back in the seat. And I was asleep, flew out of the seat, hit that, must have knocked me out. I landed back in there. So for a while, I was kind of picking glass
Friday
out of
remark. How are you going to get fired on your day off? How are you going to get knocked out when you're sleeping?
Right.
Yeah, I was actually pretty lucky. I was asleep. I was so relaxed that I just, I don't know. So that was kind of obviously, be able to walk away from that was
Wow.
very lucky. So Nick, anything ever like that happen to you, or creepy or?
No, I'm a responsible driver, so like
he met my sister.
Yeah, that's a near-death experience. Yeah.
Yeah, no, nothing like that that I can recall. No, nothing. I'm alive and well.
Okay.
Yeah, Death's gonna have to try a little harder to get me. Feel free to play that clip when something does happen to me. Remembering Nick Schaefer on Convincing Idiots. Gonna have to try a little harder than that to kill me, and we will be missed.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm
Just
glad
like
we're all
got the HIV.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. All right. Well, I'm glad we're all okay, and good creepy Halloween discussion topics there, guys. So why don't we pause here for a minute? We'll take a break. If you're listening on the podcast, listen to this little message here. If you're watching on video, you'll see a couple clips.
You know what was scary though?
What's that?
When the guy when you hit the windshield, right?
Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Like when you hit the windshield,
yep.
You didn't you woke up to the guy yelling at you, right?
Yep, that's right.
And you weren't concussed or anything like that?
Oh, like what if no one was there
Apparently not.
yelling at him? Like, would he have even come to?
I don't know.
Right.
Apparently, I don't know.
Well, yeah, because like the concussion isn't. I mean, would have nothing to do with like you physically being tight or loose. It's the
True.
brain sloshing around.
Yeah,
So
Sure.
you could have still been concussed.
and just
Maybe.
drift off
Hitting
into
that.
yeah.
Right.
I just got checked out of the ambulance, and they let us. They let
Oh,
us
you didn't
go.
even go to the hospital, eh?
No, we were
Okay.
lucky. We just kind of walked. Checked us out, and we got we walked away. I got a ride home, and that was that.
You still
Yeah.
talk to the girl?
No, nope. Nice
Okay.
girl though, very sweet, and yeah, not her fault. We ended it was a long time ago, but not her fault.
Okay.
It was all my stupid decisions and so forth. But
Out of
no,
curiosity,
nice girl.
out
Glad
of
she's
curiosity,
okay.
do you think she had insurance?
You know, I think she did because we
Well,
were
good.
able to. I don't know if it's as good though
No,
Well,
not because it
I'm-
didn't
I'm
exist
telling
back
you.
then, so not as good.
Erie Insurance. So Dean, so why don't you tell us about that?
Well, let me tell you, if you're going to get in any sort of wreck on the highway or
Yes,
run
yes.
into a
I was
telephone
planning on
pole,
doing that, so I should probably.
Nick, this is for you because you haven't been in there, and the odds.
Yeah, you never know. Your time could come.
But luckily, Nick does
This is
have
ominous.
Blake Insurance. I tell you, Blake
right.
Insurance is an Erie insurance agency located in here, Barberton, Ohio. They offer auto. That's what you need there. Homes,
Mhm.
renters, business.
Hmm.
Or even life insurance, because God forbid that goes south, you're going to need the life insurance to bury your ass. So,
That's right.
Do they offer life
See-
insurance? Did we get there?
They do offer life
They do,
insurance.
okay.
That was what
I
I just
knew
said
you-
about burying it. He doesn't even listen to me.
I know that, but you said you mentioned it before, and you weren't even sure if they offered life insurance. So I was making sure you had circled back and done
Okay,
your
I got
research.
you. I did.
and
I did do
followed
my
up.
research.
Of course, I mean we
I
should have
looked.
known this. Aaron Blake has you covered. Like, of course, he's
He
going to
has
be
me
thorough
covered like
and
he's going to have
everything
you covered.
Right.
Because
He covered
Erie
me before he
Insurance,
covered you.
Well, it depends on which way you're talking about. You see, Erie Insurance is above all else in service. You want to call 234-571-5359 or visit BlakeInsuranceLLC.com for your free 5-minute quote today. Did you hear me? I'll say it again. Free 5-minute quote today. 234-571-5359. And when you give them a call, tell them a couple of idiots sent you.
And sure
right.
that ass.
Sure that
Yeah.
ass.
That's right. Don't be frightened with poor insurance coverage.
Ooh.
Get the right peace of
Mm.
mind.
Mm-hmm.
Contact Aaron. There we go. How about that? So that
That's right.
will. There we go.
Mwah.
All right. We will be right back with some lighter subjects, or maybe after we come back.
We have a story about a guy getting shot, so I don't know what you're talking about light.
Well, I guess you're right. So it's some different stuff.
His
Not
casket was
Halloween
light.
stuff.
He was also, anorexic.
It's not going to be
fine.
about us.
Yeah, right.
That's
cool.
That's
we
right.
talked enough about us.
Yeah.
That's right. So we'll be back in 2 and 2.
Four, three.
What up? We're back here with Convincing Idiots. I'm your millennial Nick. We also have our Gen Xer Brian and Zennial Dean wearing a Snuggie over here. We are back, segment 2, and now you know what time it is. It is time for our very first installment of which. Hold on, I should back this up. Back it up.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Before that, this was a suggestion. It was we all really took a liking to, took a shine to, if I'm going to use some lingo from Brian's era. We are going to do a segment, the first ever inaugural segment of Idiots in the Week. Idiots of the Week.
Insert some sort of applause, clapping,
Yay!
maybe something.
Yeah.
Week. We'll work on the
Yeah.
intro. We'll get
We'll
there.
get
But
there.
anyway,
Mhm.
yeah, we're excited about it. So, anyway, Idiots of the Week. Idiots of the Week is a topic that we've decided to go ahead with. It was kind of described as, obviously, there's a lot of stupid people in this world. This big blue marble, this rock floating through space, there's a lot of fucking morons in it. And we are called Convincing Idiots. Why not take our namesake and find an idiot in the world, which isn't hard to do, throw a rock, you'll hit one, and convince people that this is the idiot of the week. So there's only 3 of us. So this is where it gets tricky. There's a lot of fucking idiots, but there's only 3 of us. So we each bring to the table
Like the one
idiot of the week.
that had to go out of his way to explain this situation that
Idiots of the
might
week
have been
could be
self-explanatory in the name.
Are you submitting?
Go
are
ahead.
you submitting me for? So my vote's for Nick because Jesus, he thinks you're all idiots, and he had to explain a very self-explanatory topic.
That is the. I know we'll stay woke here, and that's mansplaining. I think what you just did.
Correct.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I thought it was a fine intro, Nick. Don't worry.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Evil Knievel. I appreciate
Yes.
Brian just
Yes.
woke up. Leave him alone.
So do we have idiots of the week? You guys have people picked out?
I do. Brian,
All right.
you?
Mm-hmm.
I also
You,
do.
Nick?
So I
Okay.
do. I have
All right,
an
then
idiot
let
of the
me.
week.
I think mine's going to go quick because I don't know a whole lot about this story, as not
Okay.
many people do. As in the a lot of it in the news is still coming out. They're still doing an investigation. But my idiot of the week is the assistant producer or assistant director, or whatever it was, who handed a loaded gun to make Alec Baldwin has now killed a person.
Mm-hmm.
Handed him some sort of loaded gun, didn't check it, didn't do his or her due diligence. Now,
Fucking Brandon Lee style.
yeah, a lovely young lady is dead, and the director of the movie is in the hospital. And now Alec Baldwin has to live with the idea that, yes, he has now killed somebody. Regardless if it is his fault or not, you now have to live with that shit.
Right. Yeah, this assistant director apparently was known for not taking similar good. He has a reputation for not taking some proper safety protocols. I'm trying to say
Cutting corners. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I guess it was a scene where he had to move a gun across something like that, and the gun went off, and like you say, he shot and killed the cinematographer of the film, and the director was standing behind her, and he was injured as well. So she was definitely, when I read about her, she seemed to be an up-and-comer in the industry. She'd been on some films prior, seemed to be, definitely beloved by
a shame.
Cast and crew. So
let me, since I'm the first one to do this first segment of this Idiot of the week, let me say I don't know the assistant director's name, but here's to you fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Okay, so for future reference, for idiots of the week, be prepared with the person's name, please. That'd be great.
Well, I didn't have it. They haven't released it. Or
do you have a cell phone? You don't, though that information's not out there?
Correct.
You can't figure it out? Okay.
That's my understanding.
Okay.
Let's see. I'm sure his name's out there.
To be fair, I did little to absolutely zero research. I just assumed because it didn't come across my phone in a push notification that the information was not out there.
That's what I assumed. This fucking Snuggie's gonna come off real quick. I am
because you're getting all flushed and embarrassed because you're dumb.
I could never be embarrassed about that. It's happened for way too long to be fucking embarrassed about that. I am a Wookiee undressed.
Dave Halls, the firearm was handed
that
to Baldwin
took little
by
to no
Rust
effort to find out.
Director
Good job,
Dave
Brian.
Yeah.
Fuck
Yep.
you, mother.
Yep. So,
All right.
Okay, so
Now,
Dave
Brian, do you know
Halls.
someone who works on set? How did you get that information so quickly?
is a thing called the internet. It's
On the internet? Is that
yeah.
okay? And that's something that you have a specific password for
Yes,
for
absolutely.
access? Okay.
Yeah, it's very strange. You ask
Very
it
good.
a question and you get an
Mhm.
answer.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
you could either Google this, type it in, or I can just show it to you.
hmm
I'm showing him the middle finger for anybody who's not watching.
And this is the reason what I explained or mansplained to people to go to Google and type in "convincing idiots link tree" because I'm just trying to get you there. See, that's
Sure.
times it's necessary.
That's
I
right.
hear you don't get many people, many places, if you know what I mean. So
I'm a good
David
driver.
Hall, right?
I'm a
David
good
Hall.
driver.
David
No,
Halls.
I meant
Yeah.
orgasm.
Oh,
David
I get
Hall.
myself there just fine. Thank you.
Not every time I hear. You're not that good.
I got to tell you,
David
I'm
Hall.
really having a problem getting myself off. It's really an issue. So, Brian,
Really
other,
look down upon
aside,
yourself.
Brian, other than the two people that you do this podcast with, who are you submitting for your Idiot of the Week?
Hold on. I want to start this. David Hall. You fucking idiot.
Right.
There you go.
There
There you
you go.
Brian.
I am trying to find it here now. So there was a teacher. Let me get my article again here.
I'm going to take my pants off.
Sweet.
Okay, here we go. So there was a California teacher. You can find this out there on social media. So apparently there's a trigonometry phrase, SOHCAHTOA, something like that. SOHCAHTOA. It's an acronym used to teach a trigonometry principle. So what the teacher did was to teach the class this term. In her mind, she thought it must have sounded like a Native American chant. So in the classroom, she puts on a headdress and is chanting and kind of
So
seems to be
to clarify before you go further, this woman is not Native American. Is that correct?
No, she is not.
Okay. All right.
Couldn't be
It's
more
important
white.
information to have. Yeah.
Yeah, and she was kind of saying, "Oh, I look so ridiculous," or something like that. So, one of the students though was of Native American descent apparently, and filmed her, and it got out there, and it's become sort of a big deal. The teacher is on, at least at the time here on October 22nd, was placed on leave, and we'll kind of see what happened. So she was jumping around the room, pretending to hold tomahawks and all that type of stuff. So I don't know that was necessarily. I doubt in her mind she's thinking to herself, "Hey, let me definitely make fun of Native Americans." I think she was trying to take a term and have fun with it, thinking the students would remember it doing this or whatever. But just obviously a poor.
Like when you say the president's names or even capitals, when you put a song to it, it helps somebody remember it. That's probably where her
I'm sure it's what she's
at.
thinking. Yeah, SOHCAHTOA, just doing that type of stuff. But just obviously poor judgment and offended a lot of people and that type of thing. So at the end of the day, I hope she doesn't lose her job over it and everything. I hope she learns from it and becomes a better teacher from it. But just I thought that was pretty stupid and insensitive. I'm not all about cancel culture and all that type of stuff. And again, it's just a dumb mistake. Nobody got killed.
Cultural awareness would be good in this instance.
Really good.
Yeah, let's just do that.
Right. That's exactly what this should be used for, to teach an older teacher or older person, whatever, who's ever in this situation about that.
Sure.
Because in her mind, when she's doing it, she had no clue she was doing something wrong.
That's right.
She thought she was just using it for a teaching tool.
Right.
Misplaced, misjudged, however you want to say it. She was wrong. She shouldn't have done it. She sounded like an idiot.
Yes.
I mean, she looked like
Absolutely.
a mental patient doing it. I watched the video. She looked like a mental patient.
Right. Yep.
So I don't know if firing her, I don't, because it wasn't malicious. She didn't go out of her way to say, hey, you kid over there, I'm going to make fun of you by doing this. No,
Exactly.
she just had poor judgment. She's probably taught, like we'd said, the states and everything with rhyming stuff to make the brain teach, because kids are stupid, right?
To make the
Yeah.
brain teach.
Well, see, I'm a kid and I'm stupid.
The fuck is that?
To make the brain learn.
Can't do it
there's
with no rhymings.
repetitiveness.
Yeah.
So in her mind, that she thought she was probably doing something clever to do it.
Yeah, sure.
So
Yeah.
I think this would be a good time and moment to sit her down and explain to her why that's inappropriate or whatever, and just to have a conversation with her. But yeah, Brian, that's a very good candidate for Idiot of the Week, because what she did
Mm-hmm.
and how she did it, she was an idiot.
That's right.
Yep. Stupid.
Right. That's right.
Bad judgment.
So, teacher.
Idiots. Fucking branding. Damn it.
Yeah. Yep. So here's to another idiot, the teacher
Convincing
in Southern
stupid.
California. Yeah.
Try to make your brain
Yeah.
teach better in the future, would you?
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. Yeah, these folks convinced us that they are idiots for sure. So
Correct.
All right. So Nick, who do you got, sir?
Mine goes to a professional athlete this week.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably news more so last week, but we didn't do an episode last week. One Evander Kane is a forward for the San Jose Sharks. Now, little background. I know you guys aren't as big a hockey fans as myself, or really hockey fans at all. However, little background. Evander Kane has had multiple issues over the years. Mostly harmless stuff, showboating kind of things. He took a helicopter to an MMA fight instead of going to a practice, kind of things like that. Things that are very frowned upon, obviously, team first
Like a
mentality.
douchey meathead type deal.
Well, yeah, just kind of, yes, could be perceived as a douchey young athlete, kid with a lot of money, maybe not making some proper decisions, right? He's done a lot of these things in the past. So more recently, things have really ramped up. As of this off season, the mother of his child, for example, accused him of betting on games and being millions of dollars in debt to casinos.
Yikes.
Or to lenders or something like that. He apparently has a gambling problem, which is, awful. People have that. It is an addiction of sorts, and wish help for him. All that stuff. He's apparently very deeply in debt.
There's a hotline you can call. I think
there are accusations of him gambling on NHL games, which apparently the NHL did an investigation, didn't find anything. Okay, whatever. All these things. There's a long trail over. We'll say it's probably been a good 6-7 years of him being in the news and in the media for doing bonehead things, right? The most recent one that came out, he has been suspended for 21 games, which, if you ask, in my opinion, is actually quite light. He broke the NHL protocol rules, and in this instance, exactly what he did is he actually had a forged vaccination card. So that he could not have to, go through all of that stuff. Different teams are rolling out different. I think there's one remaining NHL player. There's one professional hockey player who is still not vaccinated currently, but the entire league is vaccinated. Okay, so whatever. I've got my opinions. People have their opinions on vaccinations. I don't really get what the big deal is or why anyone's resistant to it, but that is my opinion. Okay, let's just make the
fucking microchips.
Let's just say, whatever, your choice to get vaccinated or not. It's a completely dickhead thing to do, to go out of your way to fake a vaccination card, only really to put other people who have done the right thing to keep everyone healthy and safe at risk, because you want to be a dickhead, or you don't want to have to go through the minor inconveniences that you might have to go through on daily life as a multi-million-dollar professional athlete. The fact that you would go so far as to forge a vaccination card to put other people at risk, other professional athletes at risk, is completely unforgivable. If it were up to me, I would say suspend him for the entire year at the least. But 21 games is what he got. So Evander Kane, forward of the San Jose Sharks, please stop being a fucking idiot. Like, just stop being an idiot and just whatever. Live your life, do what you're gonna do, but God, just stop being a fucking idiot. Like, that's just ridiculous. I don't understand it.
See, I mean, I think at that point, couldn't there be some sort of like, you don't suspend him? And is there a such thing as like team justice? Like now you have to deal with your teammates
Oh well, I mean, yeah, and from
who did the right thing.
Yeah.
And now they know you're a
Absolutely.
fucking liar.
Yeah, that's true. Let's forget about the other teams they're playing. What about the guys you go to the rink with every day? What about the guys you room with and go to restaurants with? And I mean, you're living on and off the road with for 82 fucking games.
And they already know you're a fucking douche.
Right. And that's the other thing too, is, I mean, there's been multiple reports out of, many people around the San Jose Sharks, the players group, wanting him out because they just can't stand him. So it's unfortunate. It sounds like this guy's got a lot of issues. It sounds like he's got a lot of stuff going on, and maybe he just, and there are definitely instances where you give someone money at a young age, and not everybody's equipped to handle it the same.
No.
I'm not here to judge or chastise the guy for the way he has handled that. Everyone's different. This particular instance, though, I mean, at this point, this guy's been in the league for probably close to 10 years. There's really no excuse for that. Like, This is a grown man. Like, grow the fuck up. Like, come on.
I've got two things.
Yeah.
I'm going to write this down because, one, you just gave me an idea that we should have a discussion sometime. What is the stupidest thing you would do if you had FU money? If you won the fucking lottery or yada yada yada, inheritance, however you want to put it, what's the stupidest thing you'd probably do with money?
I would pay to have Jingle All the Way 2 made with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sinbad and Jake Lloyd. Okay, we would erase the Jingle All the Way to Larry the Cable Guy straight to DVD thing. That never happened. You can't find it on the internet. There's no copies of the DVD anywhere. But no, mainly the sequel to Jingle All the Way would be probably
like E.T.
Like, fuck you, I made a movie.
Every copy of the old one.
Right, I made a movie.
Okay, Brian, what's the stupidest thing you'd do with money?
Oh my gosh.
Get better co-hosts?
Yeah, maybe that's something that I think I would probably just have a crazy nuts like man cave type area with anything I could think of that I possibly would ever want, from like a classic arcade to something like that. I would just have a crazy amount of arcade machines and pinball machines and all kinds of stuff like that, to where I think that would be pretty sweet.
See, I feel like that's practical, though. With like practical. A lot of money. Like, for example, I've always said if I had like multi-millions, I would have a regulation size hockey rink in my home, in my house. Like, it would be attached.
That's not smart.
But that's what do you mean?
Well,
for me,
that's a ridiculous thing you would do with money.
Right.
Saying
I guess, but I'm saying, I mean, that's having a luxury that you enjoy in your home.
Okay.
Like an arcade, or you know what I mean? I feel like if you had tons and tons of money, that's relatively practical. I'm saying, like, if you were to go do something just completely, like, I know this in no world makes any sense, like me making a sequel to Jingle All the Way, but it's stupid.
Sure.
But like, that's what I want.
See, I'm just talking over the top stuff. This, like, anything I can think of, I would have in it. Just crazy memorabilia, stuff everywhere.
I would find people I didn't like.
Mm-hmm.
And I hated, and I would find out where their parents worked, buy that company just so I could fire them.
I see.
And ruin their lives.
Live in a shack just so I could buy between all the people that I hate and all their mothers that are going to suffer. I would live in a shack. I would forego all of my money just to live in a shack and fire their loved ones.
Yeah.
We're going to start naming those people in future episodes.
That's right.
Convincing Idiots. Tune in.
I say it, but I only dislike one person. And where does your dad work, Nick?
Let's say you like my parents. I can't worry about that.
Yeah, that's true. I can't do that.
My dad was one of the few people that came out to our live show, and if my mom wasn't watching our kids so I could be there, she would have been there too.
And he drove a long ways.
He sure did. Sure did.
All right. So with these idiots,
mm-hmm.
I think the money thing would be a fun conversation we can really delve into in
a later
time. But with the idiot of the week, who do we think is the strongest?
Well, I think that. Go ahead, Nick.
Go ahead, Brian.
Give
No,
us your
you go.
reasoning.
You go. You started. Go ahead, Brian.
Doesn't have
Well-
to necessarily be yourself.
The other two, I mean, to me, two of these did harmful things to themselves, their employers, and in Nick's case, certainly his teammates, but nobody lost a life. So I think that this one, to me, is a no-brainer, where the idiot assistant director that did not do due diligence to make sure that he's not handing a live round to an actor on a movie set that unfortunately cost somebody a life way too soon. And like you say, now, the Alec Baldwin has, and you can think what you want about Alec Baldwin. We could not care less. He certainly is very politically, viewed, and there's jokes about this already and all this and that and the other. But you're right, Dean. At the end of the day, regardless of somebody's political views, a man has to live with the fact that he shot and killed somebody innocent. And I'm sure that that's no easy task, and that's going to weigh on him for the rest of his day. So to me, that's a no-brainer. The assistant director of Rust, who he's definitely idiot of the year or longer in that respect. But for this conversation, he takes it in my book. Nick?
I would have to agree. Barring the incident that someone dies of COVID that can be traced back to Evander Kane, I would have to agree with you. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, someone died in Dean's case. So, Dean wins Idiot of the Week. You're the Idiot of the Week.
Yeah, I'm the first week's champion.
Yes.
Idiot of the week.
How about that? How about that? We got other ones too, but we'll save them for next week. That in the world of sports, we'll talk more about that next week. So good stuff. All right, guys.
Yep. You guys got reviews or some shit? What do you want to talk about? What have you been watching? What do you recommend, Brian?
Yeah, how about idiot reviews? So
idiot reviews. Let's do this.
So we talked about
shit.
Reviews.
You idiot. You idiot.
Review it, you fucking idiot. Sorry.
We're working on the segment. Yeah.
I'm working on it.
No, I think it's perfect the way it is. We just yell and berate at Brian. Just
review, you fucking idiot.
What'd you watch, you lazy piece of shit? We know you did nothing but watch movies and TV all fucking week, you idiot.
All right, the lazy piece of shit. That's not part of the name of the show. You're just being mean at this point.
Okay. Well, that's what I thought. Don't. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Ooh.
Brian, you're lovely. What did you watch?
Thank you. So, Dean, you'll talk more about this too, but you and I both been watching the new series of this new season, of Movies That Made Us. I'll let you talk more about that. So there's some good episodes there. I did go see, since our last time we got together, the last Daniel Craig James Bond movie, No Time to Die.
How was that?
Oh yeah.
Long movie, almost 3 hours.
Fuck.
I will say that, they unequivocally ended the story with Daniel Craig without question. There was no question that he is moving on. They could go a lot of different directions. I won't get into spoilers. No, I won't get into spoilers and stuff. You can go watch it yourself here. But the one thing that was unique about the Daniel Craig movies was that, practically all the James Bond movies, really, they're all standalone movies up until Daniel Craig. You can go back and watch any singular James Bond movie, and you don't necessarily need to see the ones prior. It's a unique story. You get the idea. He's a British spy. Okay, there are some things that maybe change from movie to movie a little bit, but it's a standalone movie for the most part. They've done very little stringing along any continuity of a story with James Bond throughout the movies. He had a wife in an earlier movie, on Her Majesty's Secret Service, that was shockingly killed at the end of the movie, at the very end. Very
His
sad.
wife was?
Yes, he got married in the movie. James Bond got married, fell in love. At the end of the movie, Spectre.
Was it to Pussy Galore?
No. This was Teresa Bond was her name. So she was killed at the end of the movie, and they referenced her in a couple other James Bond movies.
I'd have preferred it to be Pussy Galore.
Yeah, it was not Sean
At least
Connery.
Savings Bond or something. Like, come on, make her.
Savings Bond. Yeah.
This is my wife's savings. Savings Bond.
Yeah. Good.
Well done.
Good.
Well done.
Good. Anyhow, but so other than that, but the Daniel Craig storyline, every single movie tied to the prior movie. Again, you don't need to necessarily watch them, but it definitely helps you to watch all the Daniel Craig storylines. So they definitely did that again in this movie. They referred back to the prior stories. They referred to some very key storylines. They brought back characters from prior
Do
movies.
do any of those Daniel Craig movies have the female lead with like a sexual name, like
No.
Pussy Galore or anything? They don't kind of do what the 50s or the 60s did.
I mean,
Nope.
it's 2021, so probably not.
Okay, I didn't know. I've never seen any of them.
I don't know, but
I know
I'm
they
aware
used
of.
to be.
Right.
They did that even through the 80s somewhat. But
So it's a legitimate question.
Yeah,
Sure.
they geared away from that type of corniness for sure. But that might be a good episode to talk
What
about
is
the
your
worst James
name?
Bond. Yeah.
Miss Meat, Miss Tit. Nah, never mind. Never mind. Go ahead.
Anyway, so if you like the James Bond movies, if you like Daniel Craig, I recommend seeing it to close out the storyline. Got to see it. He's one of the better James Bonds, in my opinion. He looked the part. He was good. The stories were pretty decent. And it'll be interesting to see what they do next. But like I said, like I said, I won't get into it, but, they can, as I mentioned, they can go a lot of different directions with this. Anyway, so check that out. Good stuff.
I mean, without giving away the ending and spoiling it, could they do a mashup of the next James Bond and the next Bohemian Rhapsody movie? I'm just saying, is that how they get rid of it?
Because of the villain, you mean?
Yeah.
You forgot that, didn't you? The same guy plays
I
Freddie
did.
Mercury,
Damn it,
the villain.
You ruined my fucking age joke.
Rami Malek. Yeah.
Brilliant segue, Dean. Very nice.
Wow,
Way
look
to tie
at that.
those two together.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that. Yeah.
That's right.
He was a decent villain, by the way. Rami Malek was.
He
was
looks.
good.
I like the lines on his face and stuff. He looks creepy.
Yeah.
I like that dude as an actor.
He was good. He felt like one of those classic Bond villains. It's just like makes you uneasy and stuff like that, just being around. But anyway,
I think I'd be a good Bond villain.
Yeah. Just talking about farts and stuff and like. Yeah.
I'm creepy and uneasy to be around.
Yeah,
it's like
more in a socially uncomfortable way. It's not necessarily like you're menacing or scary. Like I don't think you're gonna harm me. It's just like, you don't know what your whole vibe is. Like it's like trying to figure that guy out. Like
okay,
yeah.
It's like you're tied to a chair. It's like you ever see that Daniel Craig movie when he's like tied to the chair, nude, and the guy is a Casino Royale.
Is this a snuff film that we haven't seen?
No.
Dean's like, I'm ready to be that Bond villain now. Thank you.
I can definitely be a Bond villain now. I've done that.
I'll take you down to my basement bedroom and.
It was intense. The villain
intense in a
took a
camper.
chair.
I'll do it anywhere.
He took a chair with like a wicker bottom. I'm talking about. He cut the bottom of it out.
Put his dick up in it.
He tied Daniel Craig to the chair nude, and he took a boat rope, right, with a big knot in it, and swung it, and kept swapping him,
shoveled it in
the balls underneath the chair.
Yeah.
Oh,
so it'd be not unlike that if Dean was just you're tied to a chair, and Dean is just like, I'm going to tell you
to the jizz den, Mr. Bond.
I'm going to tell you jokes for 3 hours. You're just stuck in the chair.
I don't expect you to talk, Mr. Bond. I expect you to come. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, see, like how we're all uneasy and uncomfortable now. That's exactly what he does.
That's my superpower.
That's his thing.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. See, that's what I'm saying. You have this sort of feeling for several hours. You just tied to that chair,
you just feel
sweating
icky inside.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I might take the boat rope. I'm not sure. I might take the boat rope instead.
You don't know. I can do it with a boat rope too. Yeah,
it's true.
I have a thing with a boat rope, and I kind of fish it in like you're getting your pipes clean. And what? Yeah. Anyways,
fish it in. Those are called anal beads.
All right,
and then
so
you pull them out like you're starting a mower.
No Time to Die. Go check it out. Nick,
It's a great review.
Nick,
No time to
what have you seen?
I would like to note a fantastic little murder mystery I have been indulging in. Very interesting. It is. I know what you're thinking. He's going to Jingle All the Way on this. No. Actually, you're right. It is Jingle All the Way. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. It's not. There is a Hulu original show called Murders in the Building.
Yes, we
It
talked about
stars
this.
Steve Martin, Martin
Yeah.
Short, Selena Gomez, primarily, amongst a cast of other characters. Very interesting. I'm sorry?
How does she work? Because those two are comedic geniuses.
Yeah.
How does she work?
So she plays So she is the millennial on the show, basically. She's very good on it because
she's annoying too?
No, no. I didn't say it was the same dynamic. I said she plays the millennial. She is no, she's very dry, and very quippy with them. That was okay. So that's the whole reason that I started watching this show. While my dad and stepmom were in town last week, my dad said he was hearing a lot of good things about the show, so I was like, well, let's watch it. It had me hooked after the first episode. I love Steve Martin and Martin Short, mainly Martin Short. I can watch that man do anything. He's just fucking
Jiminy
awesome.
Glick is genius.
Yeah. So I was watching mainly for him, and I also wanted to see, I'm like, how does Selena Gomez tie into this?
Sure.
They all play really well off of each other. It's very good. Just to give you the synopsis of without giving anything away, basically what happens, all three of these people do not know each other. They live in the same building.
So even the two old guys didn't know each other?
They didn't know each other prior.
Oh, okay.
I think they were maybe aware of one another. They're both older. They've lived in the building for a long period of time. They live in this very nice apartment.
Are they actors?
Martin Short. He's a play director. He's in show. Actually, Steve Martin was. Yes, correct. Anyway, they all live in the same building in New York City. When a murder takes place or someone is found dead in their apartment building, okay? Each one of them have had interactions with this gentleman earlier in the day, and they all come to find out that they are all big fans of something that is near and dear to our hearts, podcasts. A podcast in particular that is a murder, a true crime podcast, and they're all big fans of it. They all listen religiously to this true crime podcast.
Same one?
Yes. So upon listening to this together or finding out that they're all fans of this podcast, they put hey, this murder happened tonight in our building. Wouldn't it be interesting if we started our own podcast and we followed this murder, or they're calling it a suicide, but they're certain it's not a suicide, it's a murder. What if we follow this murder from its inception and make a podcast in real time about it? So it's actually, there's a lot of stuff going on. But it's very interesting. It's a murder mystery. And I'm about 5 episodes into it, but I really like it. I can't stop watching it. So I've really enjoyed it so far. That's on Hulu. It's a Hulu original. Yes.
Actually, I think I am gonna.
Check that out. I very much enjoy it. And of course, like I said, I'm a little partial to Martin Short, but he is far and away my favorite part of it. He's just that very eccentric, character that's just, he's, very Martin Short. But Selena Gomez is very funny in it as well, and they all play really well off of each other. So I would recommend it. But that would be my idiot review. I would also like to give a shout out to honorable mention to the Jason Sudeikis hosted episode of Saturday Night Live that aired this week.
I've heard a lot of good things about that.
Fantastic.
Yeah, very good.
There's a lot of great throwbacks. One of my all-time favorite sketches is What Up With That, if anybody watches SNL or his favorite. I love Keenan in that. I love the whole thing, all the ridiculous. But you simply, even though Jason Sudeikis doesn't even speak in his role in What Up With That, it's impossible to do without him and Fred Armisen, who also came back for that. But love that sketch. They did a lot of a couple throwback sketches. Back when Joe Biden was the vice president, he was portrayed by Jason Sudeikis and brought that back. Revival in the opening sketch was great.
Nice.
But more than anything else, what I wanted to call out, it was potentially my favorite monologue ever. It was funny. It was good. But at the very end, it was incredibly heartfelt. And he told everyone to take a moment And he goes, all joking aside, take a moment and think about where you are right now. You're in this room, you are in this studio, Studio 8H, watching Saturday Night Live. And when you think, he goes, if you're here or you're even watching at home and you love the show, you grew up watching the show, think about all of our comedy legends and icons that performed here. Everyone's had a special moment or a special sketch, you know, named off a bunch of great comedians of the past. And he was like, not only that, but think about over there, that stage with, you know, all the musicians that have come through here, and, you know, the Rolling Stones and Nirvana and all these, you know, incredible acts, Lady Gaga, everybody that, you know, these pop cultural phenomenons that have all performed on this stage. It's happened here, and like, just take a minute to appreciate where you are and how important that is to you. And, you know, like I said, you know, like it goes, for him, it was a big deal watching when he was a kid. It really resonated with me because obviously,
Sure.
I mean, I've never seen a Saturday Night Live live. It's a dream of mine. It would be a bucket list thing. In all reality, if, you know, our scenarios of winning the lottery ever came true, that's something I would do for sure. You know, or was ever able to do, I totally would. But to be, you know, when
Aren't
he said
you
that,
going
watching at home, it's
to?
incredible.
Aren't you going to New York?
I will be in New York City, staying
And
in
I'm not
Times
saying
Square next
I'm
week.
not saying that you should go then, but it's
doable.
kind of it's a 6 hours, you know, 8-hour
Right.
drive.
And well, my only thing is I don't know how much tickets are, but that's something I was talking to Robin about tonight. I was like,
Yeah,
I mean,
we can
we actually
figure it
won't
out.
be there Saturday, because I was thinking about that. I was
Sure.
like, ooh, I wonder what you could score, but we're actually leaving Saturday, so by the time they do Saturday Night Live, we won't.
I'm
be
just
there
saying,
that
in
night.
the future, it's not
Yeah,
a
it's probably
ridiculous.
doable if you could.
It's not
Yeah.
a win the lottery thing. It's just
Right.
a
Right.
doing your due diligence.
Well, I'll find out what tickets are first, but
There you go.
maybe it is a win the lottery thing. I don't know. I've never looked into it. Anyway, but yeah, his monologue was incredible. It really resonated with me, hit home, and was very nice. So if nothing else, watch Jason Sudeikis' monologue from this week's episode of Saturday Night Live. It's incredible.
I
So
agree.
that is my idiot
Very
review.
good.
Sorry, long-winded,
Yeah.
but there it is.
No, good suggestion, Nick. He also
Mine-
played the devil again on the newscast. He was funny as the devil, Jason
Yeah,
Sudeikis.
right.
That's funny.
That's a good one. Yep.
Go ahead, Dean.
All right. Well, mine's not going to be as
Well, I have
Is
some
in
other stuff I want
depth.
to talk about. So
what's that?
I'm joking with you. I'm just interrupting you.
sorry.
Interrupting
Okay.
Brian is a new thing.
Yeah.
We started
I
that
like
season
interrupting
2.
Brian.
Season 2 featuring interrupting Brian.
We're
Go ahead, Dean.
switching roles.
Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. And I just stare at you judgingly. Mm-hmm. All right. No, I watched Halloween Kills, the second
Yes.
installment of the newest Halloween trilogy, I guess. You know, they are, you know, with the 2018 Halloween,
Mm-hmm.
it is taking the Halloween original, the John Carpenter's Halloween. This is a sequel to that. And you know, and then this is a sequel to the 2018 one. Obviously, it wasn't as good as the 2018 one. The 2018 one was, it had a lot of cool nods to the first one, and this one was a little ham-fisted. They I think they
Ham-fisted.
yeah, they
I like
tried a
that.
little too hard.
Mm-hmm.
There was a whole scene, and it's not gonna give it away. If you've seen it, you know what it's like. Hell, the thing made $80 million over the weekend, so a lot of people have seen this. So it can't be that much of a spoiler. But there's a whole scene in a hospital that does not need to be in the movie. You could have taken that 15 minutes out and been just fine. There's some, obviously, for Halloween, there's, you know, they're getting back, or they're playing homage and getting back to the idea that of the no blood or not a lot of blood, you know, in the kills, but the kills are still ridiculously cool. There's a few cameo kills where it's like some actors that, you know, wearing some stuff that you'd recognize. They're in there for the kills, so that's fun. Different ways they use they do everything, and of course it's a horror movie and a slasher film, so the killer getting away with this, that, and the other is what it is. I mean, is he a demon? Is he? They don't explain it. You know, evil is dies that. So they're kind of portraying him as this supernatural thing. But if you like in the John Carpenter's, you get shot in the chest, you fall over a railing, and you still go on for 40 years.
Mhm.
Some damn
It is
good
what
doctors.
it is. Right. I mean, it is what it is. I found myself, like the 2018 one, you have to pause, because I've never been a huge horror movie fan. But sometimes you have to pause, like me, and stop yourself and, okay, it's a horror movie. This is meant to be a horror movie. You got to throw logic out the window.
Yep.
Enjoy it for what it is. Enjoy the kills. Enjoy the ridiculousness of all that. And just enjoy it for what it is. So, yes, it's not as good as the 2018 Halloween, but Halloween Kills was fun. It had a lot of cool stuff. But yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. It's definitely worth. I don't know. I've never been honestly to a horror movie in the theater, so I don't know. Like, oh, you should see it in theater.
Oh, this
or
was
see it
your
at
first
home.
one?
Yeah. What's that?
Okay. This was
No,
your
no. I
first
watched
one?
it. No, this was on Peacock, so we stayed home. To watch
okay.
this.
Oh, okay.
He's 10 years old, but I still feel like, I mean, people are going to judge me if I'm bringing a 10-year-old to a horror movie in the
I get
theater.
it. And in your
Nah,
defense, your
that-
10-year-old looks about 6 because
Yes, exactly.
he's a very young-looking
So-
10-year-old. So
right.
yeah.
So, we watch it at home. And plus, we got Chipotle. It's all of our favorite things wrapped into one.
It's better
So
that
it
way.
was-
You don't have to worry about
Right.
other people
And it
around
was-
you and things like that. It's
Right.
yeah.
And we could stop, pause it, ask each other's questions, and talk, without having to, interrupt everybody else. So, my thing, because he loves horror movies, I love that he loves horror movies. So in turn, I now love horror movies, I guess.
Sure.
So my thing was watching him enjoy it. It was what it was. It was kooky. It was fun. But so, yeah, if you get a chance, I don't know about going to the theater to see it, but it's on Peacock. Throw it up there. Enjoy it. It's an hour, 45 minutes. It's quick. But I guess the next one, which is going to be Halloween
Dies.
It's going to be a 4-year jump. It comes out next Halloween, but it's
Mhm.
going to be in storyline wise, it's a 4-year jump.
Okay. All right. I'm sure
Which-
that closes
what
out
the
Jamie Lee Curtis. Good.
Yeah. Well, I have to assume. I mean,
Yeah.
without giving anything away.
Yeah.
My
Okay.
question is, what the fuck does he do for 4 years? If he's on the loose and running around,
Yeah, is he like killing rabbits in the forest, or like what
Right.
is he? What
Like-
quenches his thirst? So let's operate under the fact that, or under the assumption that he is a
Mhm.
demonic or something superhuman, or he can't be
Sure.
killed. He's something not of this world as we understand it as a human being.
John Carpenter
So-
proved that he can't be killed. I mean, he was shot in the chest. So take
Sure.
away this
So
movie and what they do to him.
he must just need to kill things. Like, does he like just go get some fucking Big Macs in the meantime, and like, or go get coffee
Yeah.
with his buddies in the morning? Like,
Find
what's
a
he doing for
shack that
4
nobody
years?
sees for 4 years. Sits there, jerks off into the mask, licks it up. I don't know.
I think he. I
Could
heard.
have
I
Interesting
heard,
portrayal. I'd like to see your movie. Yeah.
Could have.
I heard he
fetish.
does I heard he does like a cleanse. And
Cleanse.
he
I thought
starts
you were
a-
going to say clit, and I'm like, oh, I want to see that
No.
impression.
he starts a cleanse, and then he starts a blog. I think for a while.
Okay.
Michael Myers.
Okay.
Yep.
And just
Does
trolls everybody because nobody knows he's
Yeah.
still
Mhm.
alive or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. He just does
I
that
like
for just trying to try something different for a while, and then he
For
just
all
Been
we
realizes.
know,
struggling to
he could
catch
be a
your
podcast.
teenage. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Just does like health foods and that type of thing, and then
The
at some point,
Michael Myers experience. There you go.
Yeah.
That's
And-
For
and
all
at
we
some
know, he
point-
could go under an alias, find two younger idiots to do a podcast with,
Yep.
and then sooner or later you get to show
He
your
just
chest
says-
on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then he snaps, and he just realizes, you know what?
Mm-hmm. And
Fight
he
this.
goes back to find Jamie Lee Curtis.
I'm going back to my roots and just killing people. That's
That's
where
right.
that's where life was good and exciting for
Right.
me.
Mhm.
That was at the top of my game.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Something like that.
Capture your passion.
Yeah.
There you go. Yep.
And then I think the next movie, I think, Dean, is actually about those 4 years. So they're going to do the Halloween Kills,
Mm-hmm.
close out the story, and I think the next one is the 4-year Michael Myers cleanse, blog,
Getting back into
I
finding
like
himself.
jogging, stuff
I like
like
to
that.
think-
Yeah, finding himself. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I like to
Right.
think Michael Myers
Yeah.
was sitting in his lonely shack doing whatever he's doing, like to think he's got TV or some sort of streaming service. He's watching TV. He's missing something, right? Watching TV. A Taco Bell commercial pops up and says "Live Moss," and he goes, "You know what? That speaks to me."
Yep.
You know what living moss was to me? Trying to murder people.
Yep.
I need to live moss. I need to get back out there. I need to find that bitch that I was trying to, that teenage girl that
Then
I
you
was
have
trying to kill all these
Then you have a
years
good
later.
5-minute montage of him like training to get back to it, stabbing pumpkins,
fucking shoving down.
it,
Yep. Just Crunchwrap Supremes, just getting ready. He's like, "Yep, living moss. Let's do it."
jerking into
Baja
the
blast
mask.
to the face, jerking into the mask. There you go.
Lifting a wagon.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Yep. Stuff like that. Yep.
Yep.
I like it.
Well, guys, we have a movie.
Climbs up
Convincing
to a
Idiots.
mountain.
Yeah, we have a
We
treatment.
just described the synopsis to our first ever film.
Yeah.
Feature film ever.
I like this a lot.
Yep.
Actually,
Right, so
we could just take away the Michael Myers thing and just make Brian the serial killer and do all of this with him in this role.
Sure.
And it will work 10 times better.
Absolutely.
I like it.
This made 80 million. This is going to make 16 in the weekend.
I would at least like to make an Instagram reels of this at the very least.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, so we need to give our ratings. I want to give our ratings real quick. This stuff.
Interrupting Deans, yes. Yep.
Oh, we're still doing that. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Well, season 2, I didn't know if we were going to try something different.
Do you want to do interrupting Brian's instead? Would that make you feel better? Because I feel like the scale changes because Brian interrupts way less. So
maybe we need to work on this a little bit. But I was thinking, I'm so distracted by open chest Brian that I'd like to give him like how many Brian chests, and like
sure.
But I don't know if we can go that high.
Just do it. You could do that tonight. That's fine. We'll do a special Halloween.
How plunging of a Brian neckline would you give this?
Right.
Deep plunge is the best. Crew neck is like I wouldn't even waste your time.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, for me, Halloween Kills is I'm gonna go a good mid neckline. We're not going plunging on it.
Okay.
But it's not a crew neck.
Okay.
It's good.
I like it. So Nick, what do you give?
Murders in the Building.
Yeah.
For me, I would probably give I'm going to give it a 1 interrupting Dean. You might interrupt it to laugh or to try to figure out what as follow along with the murder mystery. Certain clues you might interrupt to ask some questions to yourself or things like that. But it's very entertaining, very fun. So yes, 1 interrupting Dean for Murders in the Building.
And we're also proving that that Nick's watching the hockey game rather than listening to us talk. So
yeah, that's okay. What about the SNL? The SNL
for tonight, it's plunging necklines of Brian.
Okay, well, is that good or bad? Is it good or bad? More plunging necklines? What's the highest you go?
Tell me
when you
the more plunge, yes, more chest exposure. How do you feel down there, Nick?
Okay, for Murders in the Building, the plunging neckline is probably I'm going to show you on myself.
Oh, we get double. Look at this.
It's probably
all right.
It's it's not. It's probably about where Brian has it. Really, I mean, if it could be a little deeper. It's not perfection.
Of course, we all wish it was a little deeper.
It's not perfection, but it's very good, and it's giving me what I need. It's giving me enough to keep me fully mesmerized and entertained at all times.
Of course,
excellent.
We'd all love to see a nipple, but life is what it is.
What was the other Brian?
The SNL your SNL episode with Jason
Statham. The episode itself was a little bit higher, right? You're still getting a lot of chest. You're getting what you need, and it's satisfying everything you need. But that monologue gives you the nipple. That's it right there.
Oh,
the monologue,
there you go.
The monologue is a flash of the nipple because it's just great. It really hit home for me.
You've convinced me. I'm going to watch that monologue.
There you go. Watch that monologue.
Yep. What about you, Brian?
I think for me, it's the James Bond's probably about where it is. Yeah. So it's entertaining. If I could zip up slightly more, I might zip it up slightly more, just because it's a little long movie.
Good things could be tweaked.
It could be tweaked. Could be edited a little bit more. But it was a overall very complete ending to the storyline. And if you guys see it, we'll talk more about it. And but I give it a slight zip up on the Evil Knievel suit. So there you go.
Okay.
But still recommend it. Still recommend.
Maybe 2 stars down the chest showing.
Yeah.
Instead of 3. Okay.
There you
Oh,
go.
there you go.
I like
There we
it.
go. Yeah.
I like it.
We didn't even
Okay.
think about that. It's
well,
right there.
I know
in the-
there's
in- for
guidelines,
the-
but for people listening on podcasts, they're going to be like, "What the fuck?"
That's true.
That means nothing to me. So
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
If they're listening, this means nothing to them anyway. So
And they're like,
All right.
if they're
Sorry.
listening, they're like, apparently it means nothing to the people making it because
they gave up long
they're
ago.
not even trying. Like whatever.
All right, guys. Well, good episode. We are at the end of our time here. It's time to wrap it up and have some. Have some.
Post game beers. Let's go.
That's right. That's right. We got to associate with the spirits in your homes or otherwise, and hang out the rest of the night. So we hope you guys enjoyed our out there. We're continuing to evolve and see how this flows and how this works. We appreciate the feedback. We appreciate you guys hanging in there, listening to us, and people at the live event took the time to give us some thoughts and suggestions, and we appreciate that. So
definitely, it's good to hear from people. What I mean, like you said, we drew that idiot of the week out of there. I mean, that's a good idea, and maybe some other things going forward. So I like I like the idea of adding some things that people request. So I like that. Thank you very much.
Brian doesn't want to say it, but his a lot of people pulled him to the side that night and said, "We need more Brian chest.
Yeah,
we need to see more of your chest."
Yeah,
the public is demanding it, and look what we got this week.
Yeah,
everybody watch the YouTube video.
Yep, I'm curious to see what the costume does. Excuse me, for our listeners over in Germany and Ireland. So we've been seeing
I was surprised
some
to see no one from
listens there.
Ireland or Germany there. I'm not going to lie. I was a little surprised.
I
to see anyone in Ohio.
At the actual event. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was a little disappointed to make the flight over here, but that's okay. So if you're listening out there, we do still appreciate that. Oh, that's what it got delayed. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's understandable.
Yeah.
And we forgive you guys.
Well, hopefully you enjoy the added chest exposure today, and if it's something that
all did,
if it's specifically, again, we know Germans love David Hasselhoff.
Yep.
And
Big
David
fan.
Hasselhoff was not afraid to expose his chest. Right? So you never know. There could be a tie in there. We're not sure. So let us know. Give us some feedback out there. We'll give the people what they want.
If you've listened to the end, I'm gonna give you a little treat there, everybody. If you've listened to the end, you're gonna want to go back to YouTube, because I don't know because I took my onesie off because it was very hot. I was sweating, and I sat back down. Nick was looking this way. Brian, you were looking down, reading something. I don't know what you see in my boxer shorts if the little pocket was open.
You stepped off. Well, I don't know what the instance
when I
you're
sat
talking
back
about.
down.
I don't know.
I come in and then come down. So everybody on YouTube,
well, I will say,
check out the YouTube video. You might see a little more Dean than you're expecting.
So you're saying you're hinting to Brian you're going to get us flagged and taken off of YouTube? Is that what's happening right now?
I'm trying to drive people to the fucking YouTube channel. Come on, man. Work with me here.
All right. Well, is that it then?
But we really should check the video to see if we
so,
need to.
For the first time ever, to kick off season 2, I'm going to make my own recommendation of what voice I should do the outro in.
Please.
And like this week, in honor of Halloween and what we have done here tonight, I have decided to do it in the spirit of Brian's chest.
All right.
So, if this is your first time joining us, please be sure to go and check us out on our Convincing Idiots Linktree. That's LINKTREE. There you will find links to Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, along with all the places that you can listen to our podcast. Don't forget to go to YouTube, where you can visualize Brian's chest. Also, please be sure to go to our website. That is convincingidiots.wordpress.com. WORDPRESS.com. So, for another very thoroughly entertaining episode of Convincing Idiots, I am Brian's Chest Exposed, brought to you by the Evil Knievel costume. I am Millennial Nick.
I am Zennial Dean, and if you're listening to this, go and watch this on the YouTube because the visual of Brian's chest during the outro is goddamn gold. I'm Zennial Dean.
I'm Brian Gen X.
Have we convinced you for more chest exposure on this podcast?